We're here with Lisa Mann. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
No problem. The other day I saw you post, buy your CD because, you're not making any money right now, obviously, because you can't go out and do anything where everybody's on lockdown pretty much. And I did buy a CD.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
And I hope you signed it because I did say to sign it, but I don't know if you did.
Oh, yeah, I did.
You did? Okay, did. Cool. Good.
Yes, I did.
As you can see, I like to collect things and I mostly like autographs, so.
I appreciate that, man, because, and frankly, digital streaming is really cool because it's convenient and you're not, you don't have to have a big wall full of CDs to have a collection. However, my CD is kind of like the White Crone, the Poisoner is kind of like Sad Wings of Destiny in a way, because there's like a couple of songs that one song goes right into another. And you listen to it digital format and it goes chop. And then the next song starts. So it's not like Deep Dreamer Deceiver where it's like that epic, that high note, and then boom, they go into the next song. And it's just like, meh, you hear that in digital. It's like, wah, wah, wah.
That's why I hate digital.
So, thank you.
Yeah. Although I did have to listen to your album on digital because, I was waiting for the actual album to come in the mail. So I did listen to that today. I listened to that a few times today, and it's a really good album.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
really
you very much. I worked really hard.
I can tell you did. Was that released this year, or was it released last year?
No, it was released February 22nd, actually.
Oh, okay. So not that long
ago. Yeah, it's still pretty new. And I did. It took me a few years to do this CD. I wrote songs over. I actually started in 2016. I started writing songs.
Oh wow!
For the album, and I have my husband Alan. He's a bass player with a soul artist called Sugar Ray Rayford. He records at home. He set me up with his home recording, and I bought one of those Roland E-drum kits.
Okay.
And started writing with the drums. I bought a 7-string Schecter guitar because I play a 6-string bass, so I had to have a 7-string guitar. I got to have that low B,
Right.
So I bought that, and I just started, these ideas. I'd be driving down the road, or I'd be washing my hair, and I just hear melodies. And these are all things that were kind of already in there from all my years as a youth, listening to Iron Maiden and Mercyful Fate and Ronnie Dio and Judas Priest and all that stuff. It was all just kind of mixed in there and just started coming out. And I was able to record all that stuff. And then later on, after all the parts were arranged, go in the studio and knock it out.
Yeah. How long did it take you to actually finish the album?
It took about 2 years of recording because I'm a full-time blues artist. I'm a contemporary blues artist, and I gig full-time, and so I was just doing this in my spare time. I released it on my own label, and so I tried to learn to play the drums well enough to do the drums, and it was not happening. Man, that's like, that learning curve was just way too steep. There's a guy named Larry London, London, and he lives in Salem, Oregon, and he's a drum instructor, and he's phenomenal. He's like the Mike Portnoy of Oregon,
Oh, really?
So I hired him to play the drums, even though I mapped out the drum parts. I wrote the parts on the E-drums, but oh God, if you heard those scratch stuff, it's embarrassing, man. So he just killed it on that stuff. And then I did almost all the rhythm and lead guitars, and of course the bass and the vocals. But I also had there's a guy named Mehdi Farjami who used to be in a band called Glacier, and he was a friend of mine in high school. And I said, "Hey man, you wanna play a couple of leads on here?" And so the first track.
Uh-oh, what happened? No.
My friend Mehdi playing the guitar because
you froze.
Yeah, I taught myself how to play guitar. Oh shoot, I lost you.
Yeah, you froze.
Did I lose?
What the heck that was? Yeah, you did.
That was really weird. So did you.
That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know where it froze. So.
I don't know. Well, you're just talking about your guitarist, the guitar player.
The guitar player. Yeah. So yeah, I played most of the guitars, but he played these leads on the first track, "The Dream of Tiamat," and the Seven Gates of Hell, which is the Venom cover. And man, I taught myself how to play guitar to make this record, but there was no way I could play. I can't play like him. It's just forget it.
Right.
So we all went to Opal Studio here in Portland, Oregon, and just over time, just multi-tracked it, knocked it out. Kevin Hahn's the engineer over there at Opal, and he's a musician too. So sometimes he'd say, well, this needs one more guitar part. I don't have enough moving parts. I go, oh, all right, let me, and then I'd come up with something else. And it was a lot of fun. It was something I did in my spare time.
Now, I was reading up a lot about you. You did start out as a blues player. What made you start as a blues player instead of a metal musician?
I actually started out as a rock musician and a metal musician. As a youth, I started out playing metal, and I was actually the first bass player in a crossover band called Dead Conspiracy, and we did a few gigs in Portland. And when I was still too young to stay in the bar on the break, I joined Top 40, and I started working Top 40 rock bands, and I did that for many years. And I played in Seattle in the 90s, and then I moved back to Portland, and Portland has a really solid blues scene. So I started working in that scene, worked with my friend Sonny Hess. There's a blues harmonica player, legendary guy named Paul DeLay. I played with him for a little while, and it was kind of like, because when I first started playing, it was like Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin, Cream, and so a lot of those bass lines is like, oh yeah, okay. So we weren't playing a Willie Dixon song. I'm like, I know this song, man. I thought it was a Led Zeppelin song, but apparently it's a Willie Dixon song. So that's how I got into that. And then I started writing my own music and producing my own albums, and won a couple of blues music awards. And I've had a lot of great success as a blues artist, but I never lost my love of metal. Never lost my love for that. And I'd actually torment my blues bandmates. Actually they love it too. They love metal too. So we'd be, singing along with Sad Wings, or, I'd be playing Ghost, Maiden, Dio, just extreme metal, Bachushka and stuff, driving down the highway, going to our blues gig.
Well, there's some bands, like even on the Black Album, on Metallica's Black Album, they did a lot of blues on that album too. So there is always, I think, blues in a lot of metal anyway. So it does work.
Yeah, that's how Black Sabbath started. They were playing.
I was just going to say Black Sabbath too. Exactly.
That's right. But for me, I'm trying to keep these worlds apart. It's like, who's over here? He didn't do nothing to you. Leave it alone. Okay. And then here's the metal world over here. So there might be there's a couple of tracks that have some kind of bluesy, Sabbathy kind of licks in the Poisoner. But for the most part, I'm kind of like, I'm not going to try to make like a blues rock or blues metal. I'm not going to try to do that. I'm just going to listen to what these songs are telling me. I let the songs tell me what they want to do. And, a lot of it's kind of all over the map, but, I like that. I don't want Black Sabbath didn't do that. They weren't just all the time. So, I try to be kind of spread out
a little bit all over the place.
Styles.
but it all makes sense in the end.
Well, thank you very much.
That's why I really like it, because it's not like everything out today. It always just seems so. I guess the word for it, like form. I can't even pronounce that word. Formulatic, mate. I don't know.
Formulaic.
Something like that. Exactly. Yeah, but it all seems like that, And your album, it's like I said, it's a little bit not crazy, like all over the place, but like it just all makes sense. It like albums like back in the day. It just had something about them where they're not just the same old riffs over and over again, the same songs, and you can tell each song is different on your album, which is what I like.
Well,
you can tell one song from the other, which is good. A lot of bands do. Yeah,
and well, thank you very much. And I remember I could hear things in my head. I'm taking a shower, and I'd run out of the shower and I'd grab my phone and I'd sing the line in the phone.
Yeah.
And so that's how I pretty much wrote. I just tried to listen to it instead of just coming up with riffs on the bass. I would just try to listen to it and then recreate what I'm hearing. And then afterward, I would say, oh, that's kind of a Mercyful Fate thing, man. That's kind of a Timmy Henson thing, and or that's a Steve Harris kind of thing. So I could hear all these things that have been inside of me all these years, and they just kind of popping out and coming from all angles,
Yeah,
it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a lot of fun too. It's really
it was
good.
Work. It was hard work. But it was.
Yeah. Who got you into playing bass?
I did. I was 11 years old. Actually, I was like probably 7, 8 years old. And I started playing. My mom had an acoustic guitar. And I would hear like bass lines from like Deep Purple. And I would learn how to play the bass lines or Cream or Led Zeppelin, stuff like that. And because that's my parents weren't hippies, but they were hippie adjacent, so they had Steppenwolf records and all that stuff. And so I would play along with that stuff. And the first song I ever learned how to play actually was Space Truckin'. It was Deep Purple. And so, I plunked that out on an acoustic, and I wanted a bass. I was really into Kiss, man. And I thought Gene Simmons is so cool. So I wanted a bass. And so I went to this pawn shop. It was in Charleston, West Virginia, and I'm 11 years old. And I saw this Beetle bass, and it was, the violin-shaped bass, but it had a scroll on top. And I was like, I gotta have that bass. And I actually worked at a pet store, like sweeping the floor for like a day, and I earned $10. And I took that $10 and I put that bass on layaway, and then I walked home from school every day for that whole year, and I would eat like toast or can of beans. I mean, I was like totally malnourished, but I had to have that bass. I would say, and here's this little kid coming in there, and here's another $10, mister, putting that bass on lay. I still have that bass.
Oh, really?
I just love the sound of the bass. I love the sound of bass lines, even if it was like in a movie score or something, I just loved it. I don't know. And then when I was 12, I moved out. My family moved out. My mom moved out to Oregon. A friend of mine gave me Iron Maiden Killers. And that was it. I was off. That was it. It totally changed my life. Iron Maiden Killers. And I was off to the races.
Are you a fan of Alice Cooper at all?
I am a fan of Alice Cooper. Yeah, I am a fan of Alice Cooper. A Billion Dollar Babies is a brilliant album.
That is a very brilliant album. Reason why I bring that up because his bass lines on Alice Cooper albums, those always stick out to me for some reason. I just maybe because he does those little in between things and just stuff like that. There's not too many bass players that do that kind of stuff, but that's just some certain bass players do things like that makes the songs even better because they're doing their own thing, over the guitars and over the drums. So, yeah. Thank
you very much. I'm a fan of the independent bass line because, it was kind of like the And Justice for All, kind of like, it's like the bass is just like carrageenan or something. It's like, it's just a little thickener that we're going to, it's like cornstarch to thicken up the guitars. It's like, what the fuck, man? You got this whole other instrument that can add a whole nother dimension. Right. So, not that I'm down on Metallica. I love Metallica. I love Cliff,
Yeah.
But, he added that whole extra dimension, to fill in those spots. But also, you mentioned Alice Cooper. The bass was loud. The bass was loud in the mix.
Yeah.
And that's about Maiden, too. It's like...
Maiden always has its stick out. Yeah.
Yeah, don't hide the bass in the corner.
Yeah. Although I think Maiden has a reason why it's out in the open.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Seeing Steve Harris kind of runs the show there.
He's driving the car.
Yeah, pretty much. But you can't blame him. He's the Maiden sound. You got to hear that thumping bass in the background.
That's right.
And without that, it's not Maiden. I don't think. Everybody else can kind of go, but without Steve, I think.
Amen. Amen.
I was very surprised to see that you like Mercyful Fate. How big of a fan are you?
It's those first few albums and King Diamond. I love Fatal Portrait and them, but that was that first record, man. It had that Flaming Skull, Melissa, and I actually bought it at a record store that was in town, but just because the cover was so cool.
Right.
And I was like, man, look at this, has got to be cool. And I actually distinctly remember the day that I sat down and I put the needle down and was waiting, and I heard I heard that voice. I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard. And then Timmy Hansen, man, just like, or Hansen, I should say, thumping me on the bass. And it's just such a killer band and just really clever arrangements and still kind of bluesy. Still kind of Sabbathy and bluesy. So they had one foot in that, but there's like that early first wave black metal. I really dug. I was really into Celtic Frost and Venom and stuff like that. And it was still greasy. That's like the blues term. If it's good, it's greasy. And that's what I liked about them. Is they were technical, they were progressive, but they were still earthy and greasy,
Right, yeah.
Raw.
Raw. Yeah, exactly. What's the last King Diamond or Mercyful Fate album you've listened to?
The last one I listened to?
Yeah.
Recently? What was I listening to? I had that song in my head. It was It's the Spider's Lullaby.
Wow. That long ago?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's
that's what I just remembered that.
What's the last one you listened to?
What's the
are you still current? Yeah, are you still current listening to his stuff?
I'm not as current. I am the unfrozen cave woman of metal. Really.
A lot of people are.
I am. I'm just not that current. Although I am into Avatar. I'm into Ghost. I really dig Behemoth. I think they're really great songwriters. I really dig that first Bachushka album was just crushing. I like a lot of extreme metal, it seems like. Yeah. Even though I love someone turned me on to Titan, the Septic Flesh symphonic, and Dimmu Borgir and symphonic metal and stuff like that. Because to me, it's all about songwriting. Is it interesting? Is it textured? Are the arrangements interesting? Are you using these different instruments in a way that is clever and complementary?
Yeah.
So that's the main thing to me. But as far as like the old school stuff, man, I love the newer Maiden was the double album.
You like that? I don't like that.
Book of Souls. I love Book
Really?
Book of Souls because he sang. Some of the songs are filler, but the way he sang on that album, he sang like a man who thought he was going to die.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he had
I listened
cancer.
to that. He knew. He knew he had cancer. And he was singing like a man who would never sing again. So I think some of those vocal performances are just so heart-rending and heartfelt. So that's what I love about that album. But most of the Maiden stuff is like, I Love Seventh Son and Power Slave. And it's kind of like Power Slave was like the bar.
Right. Yeah.
And the last song on the record is 18 Rabbits. I'm kind of regretting that I put it last, but it's kind of where it needed to be. Because that I feel like that's my favorite song on the White Crone, The Poisoner.
Yeah, I think so too. That's one of my favorite ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. And that's very Maiden and epic, and it's multi movement, has all these different parts to it and stuff like that. But that when we were mixing, I told Kevin Hahn at Opal Studio, I said, Power Slave, take a listen to Power Slave. Let's look at where these moving parts are, and then let's modernize that so the drums are thicker and more modern. Yeah. So I love you. I'm old lady, and I like the old shit.
Hey, so, I can't blame you with the amount of stuff coming out today, and it's all kind of like, I don't blame you. Although there are some really good bands out there, but
there are.
The classic stuff, you just really can't beat the classic stuff.
Nope. And, they don't make them like they used to.
No, they don't.
Let me tell you, kid.
But like you bring up Power Slave and stuff like that. I definitely do hear all that in this album. I hear those bass lines and just even some of the guitar work and even some of the drums. I'm like, wait a minute, am I actually listening to Maiden or what am I listening to here? Because it does somewhat sound like that era a little bit,
Thank you. I really dug Destruction too, that German band. So I was kind of.
You're all over the place. Wow, you're like me.
I was a mosh pit kid. So I grew up in the mosh pits, and any lunch money or extra money that my mom would give me, I would be at this place called the Starry Night. There was Pine Street Theater, Starry Night. There's the Satyricon. There were these places that metal bands and crossover bands would play, and I was the weird girl that was in the mosh pit. So. I love the thrash bands. I remember I saw Slayer early on, man. Slayer, Megadeth, Metallica with Cliff. Wow. And Destruction came through. Celtic Frost came through. But I really dug Destruction because there was something that, like I said, again, technical, but still grooving, man. Still greasy, still raw. And so there's a bit of I really loved. A lot of people kind of crapped on it. The Mad Butcher EP. It's just 4 songs. This drummer named Oliver Kaiser. He's like the man that I would listen. I learned to play the E drums, and I would play along with like Reject Emotions, and learn how to play double kick by playing along with that guy. So. There's a little bit, and I put some Easter eggs in there. I don't know if you heard on the record some Easter eggs from different. It's like Tom G.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even realize that.
Celtic Frost.
When I listen to it again, I'll listen. Yeah.
There's a little Judas Priest thing in the Venom song.
Yeah, I hear that. And in the Venom song. Oh, because in The Prisoner you get it pretty high towards the end too. That was pretty good. And I noticed too. Yeah, you don't go on like I know some vocalists like overdo it with the high vocals and stuff like that, and you don't do that on this album. I don't think, right? The Prisoner is the only one I think you go like really high, and then I don't think you do that too much throughout the album, right?
I do some, but the thing is, it's kind of like, well, like you were saying about bands that aren't that multi-dimensional,
right?
Better
word, thing.
Yeah, it's like it's the same thing with vocals. It's like if you're just up here all the time, it's like pepper. I like pepper in my soup, but I don't want to eat the bold pepper.
Exactly.
So if you're the whole time, I mean, King Diamond can do that all day long.
He can get away with these.
But he would sing low and then he'd sing high. It just gets it's too much. And Judas Priest never did that. You know, Bob Halford doesn't. He sing the song, sing the melody. Just to me, it's like sing the fucking song. Let the song tell you what it wants to do, and you don't have to be like, well, how can I force this song into showcasing me showing off? Because I don't think that's what people really want to listen to. I think they want to hear a melody that maybe they will remember later on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's
why I like it so. That's why I like it so much, because you don't overdo things. Like, you don't overdo with the vocals. If the song calls for a high pitched vocal, then you give it that. But if it doesn't, then like you said, don't force it into the song.
Yeah. Thank you for noticing that. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm gonna say now, and I did this when I started this show 2 years ago, when I heard another band not for the first time, but their new album. I said and when did that album come out? I think that was like March or something. And I said that was my favorite album of 2018. Your album is my favorite album of 2020.
Are you kidding me?
It's only March, and it's already my favorite.
The year is young. Somebody's going to come out there and kick ass.
No, I don't think so. The way it's going lately, I don't think
man. So. Oh, dude, you're going to make me cry. I'm going to get verklempt. No, seriously, that means a lot. Because just the fact that you even listen to it start to finish.
Yeah. Because
I think of it as one big pill that you need to swallow. It's like, I love the album rock of the 70s. It's what I loved about Ghost. They're like, so let's make an album. Let's write an album front to back. So the fact that you did that and listened and that you dug it, I think you're coming from a similar place as me in a lot of ways. Musical taste. We both love Maiden. Who doesn't love Maiden?
Exactly. Right.
So
and that's why I think I like it so much, because it just has so many different things in there. Like I said earlier, all the songs, you can differentiate every song. Nothing sounds the same, and you can just listen to this album from start to finish and not I'm losing my voice and not get bored of listening to it. Although you did scare me when I turned it on and I saw 18 songs. I'm like, oh no, it's going to be a long album. There was 18 songs on mine.
I think it's 12. 18 songs. That's weird.
I had to listen on Amazon, so let me see what it.
You know what? It might have been adding extra things.
It's quite possible, because Amazon's very weird.
Because it's 12 songs. Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, 18 songs. How am I gonna? I mean, I listen to stuff while I'm at work anyway. But when I listen to it, I'm like, you know what? This album's really good, and it could have went even longer. I wouldn't be bored. But sometimes you never know. Some bands put out these 18-song albums, and there's like tons of filler, which there was not. No. I'm sorry. Why I got confused. 18 is 18 Rabbit. That's why. There is 12 songs.
Oh, 18 Rabbit. There you go. That's right. It's 12 songs. Yeah.
Why is it called 18
two
Rabbit?
Of them are intros. That song 18 Rabbit is about and it's funny because I started writing that song before Maiden came out with Book of Souls. So then they came out with Book of Souls. It was all this Mayan shit. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, what's good? I'm going to release this song anyway. Because 18 Rabbit was it's like the nickname of a Mayan king of Copan. And he was more of a peaceful leader, and he was a patron of the arts. So when he ruled, he brought in all these artisans that came in, and they carved all these incredible stone works of art. And, they're all like pictures of him, because he's the God King. So I kind of incorporated some of the real stories. There's nothing really mystical in the story, but it's actually telling the story of what happened to this king, because there were other rival tribes that were jealous, rival kingdoms that were jealous of his power, and the people loved him. And so they kidnapped him. And you can find out what happened to 18 Rabbit if you buy the album.
And please, where could people buy the album? I just thought
it was an amazing story. Bandcamp. So whitecrone.bandcamp.com. You can also buy it, Amazon and all that. But that's like CD Baby, distributor. You know what I mean? It's just, right. So you want to take it, especially if you want an autographed copy. I've got T-shirts too. I've got patches. So if you want an autographed copy, get it on Bandcamp. And then I will go to the post office, and the wonderful people that are still working at the post office in harm's way of the COVID virus. You wearing your mask and stuff? You got your mask on and stuff?
No, they don't give us masks. Although I don't. Nobody knows I work at the post office. Now you just outed me. Thanks.
No, they know. Oh no, they know. You know, you can edit that part out if you want.
I guess I could.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, they don't give us masks.
I'll tell you what. One of the most famous bluesmen, his name's Toronzo Cannon. He's a famous bluesman, and he's a bus driver in Chicago.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, there ain't no shame in working a day job. So, and he's working with the public.
Oh,
he's dealing with some shenanigans right now on the bus. So he's like, you know, could you please step away from me, sir? He's off on me.
Actually, here they have them, the bus drivers, they have them loading on the back of the bus now, all the passengers and everything. Are they doing that there too?
No, I don't know. That's pretty smart. And
then I don't think they're taking any fees right now either. I think it's all like free bus rides.
Really? Now that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, this is a weird time to live through. And thank God for this technology, you know, for Skype,
my God.
or it's just, you know, I know you've been relying on it for this program, you know, but everybody's relying on it now. So staying in touch. I've done some Facebook Live shows. I've actually because I've done some blues stuff, and actually people were very generous on PayPal. I did this the Great British Blues Festival put together a thing where I had all these different artists play for like 15 minutes. So it was funny. The most viewers I had was 666 viewers. I was like, yeah.
Wow. Nobody leave, please. I have to keep that number.
That was pretty cool. You know? I might do White Crone karaoke because I have some instrumental tracks. So perhaps I will do, you know.
Oh, that's cool. I just added you on Facebook, so whenever you do that, I'll reshare that on our Facebook page.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, we'll do. I also noticed on this album, there's a lot of Dio.
Yes.
So I hear a lot of Dio.
Very much so. Not only that, there's a song Vinny Appice plays on. So Under Hagstone. I was going to mention that as well. Yes.
Is it Appice or Appice?
It's funny story. It's Appice if it's Vinny, and it's Appice if it's Carmine. And if it's their dad, it's Appice. So I don't know. They couldn't decide. So I sang along with a lot of Dio. That's how I learned how to sing. Was singing with Bruce Dickinson, Ronnie James Dio. It hurt when he passed away. That was rough. Yeah. I actually couldn't even listen to him for a couple of years because every time I turned on, just the waterworks. There was a while before I could listen to him without just bawling because that voice just meant so much to me. So thank you for noticing that. And then, you know, I've got a blues rock tune on the last Lisa Mann CD. It's been a while since I put out a Lisa Mann CD, under my own name. And there was a blues rock song that I wrote. It was about people in prison not getting a fair shake when they come out. And I have that thing like that. And I was like, I can hear Vinny Appice playing the drums on this, man. So I was like, maybe I'll cold call him. So I did. I cold called him. I said, hey, man, would you play a song on my record? Here's an example of what it's going to sound like. Send him a couple tracks. And he said, okay, sure. So I paid him a fee. He recorded it at home. And so he's on one of my blues records. So I called him back for this one. I was like, okay, this song is like 60 beats per minute. It's really slow. Who can pull off that slow beat like Vinny? Right. I had to have him on that. Yeah, I'm still like pinching myself. He was like my favorite drummer, man. Even when I was like 13 years old or something. It's like Vinny Appice is my favorite drummer. Yeah.
Well, now you got him on 2 year albums. That's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. I actually I have a band myself, and I play drums, and we actually did an interview on. I have a King Diamond show, and which is why I asked you about Mercyful Fate earlier, and we actually interviewed Kim Ruz, which he's barely ever.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's barely ever does any interviews.
Look that up.
Yeah, look it up. It's about a 2-hour interview, but it was really cool. He's a really cool guy, and just talking to him, he goes, I play drums still, and if you want me to do an album, I'll record drums on your album. So I might even have him do stuff on my album. I don't care if he plays the drums for one of my songs. What do I care,
Yeah.
Just having him on something, that I'm doing is cool to me,
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, actually, if you, what are we? We're up to, I think we're up to Abigail album. Are you a fan of the Abigail album?
Oh yeah. Abigail, I know you're in control of my brain. Oh,
maybe we can have you. Will you do a King Diamond song on your next album?
Maybe I will. Maybe I will. That's a great one.
Think about that. Yeah. Maybe we can have you on the King Diamond show.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I love me some King Diamond. I love me some King Diamond.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I love the googly eyes.
Oh, yes. I forget about my...
I was like, yeah, okay, this is cool. That was from Conspiracy. That makeup, I think, was from Conspiracy.
Yeah, yep. But I did a show with like 2 other guys. So once we figure that out, I'll ask you, and we'll set that up.
Get some female energy in there.
Yeah, you're the second female I've had on the network so far. So we got to get some more females on the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one was Annette Olsen. I don't know if you ever heard of her.
Who's she with? Or she got her own thing?
She used to be with Nightwish. Remember Nightwish? Or do you know Nightwish?
Okay.
Remember the girl that took over for Tarja? Yeah.
That's right. I like her. She, oddly enough, she sounds like a hard rock Olivia Newton-John.
Oh,
her voice,
I didn't even
the timbre of her voice. Next time you listen to her, you go, "Oh my God, yeah, it's OMJ," which I think is an underrated thing. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely. But we'll invite you for that show. That'd be awesome.
That'd be
what
awesome.
else would be awesome? Who got you into singing?
I love to sing to anything. Actually, my mom had, my dad was the one that had like the Cream and the Led Zeppelin records and stuff. My mom was the one that had Barbra Streisand and Melissa Manchester. And she had this record. I don't know if you remember, there was this kitschy record. There was a singer who was like an Incan princess, and her name was Ima Sumac. And she was like really extreme singer, and she could sing whistle tones, and she would sing these strange songs about animals of the forest and singing in her Mayan language and in Spanish. And it's like extreme vocals. And I would sing along with that. I didn't know what the hell I was singing, but I would sing along with that. I remember one day I was singing, and I've got an older sister, Allison. She goes, "Quit making your voice all wiggly." And because I have vibrato, I have vibrato.
Right.
So, and she told my mom that, "Did you know Lisa could sing?" And my mom said, "Lisa can't sing." I said, "Well, no, listen to her." So yeah, I sang along with Judy Garland. She had that live Judy Garland thing, and I would sing along with that when I was a little kid. And then Kiss came along, and then, and then Iron Maiden came along, and then when Bruce Dickinson showed up, and Ryan James Dio showed up, that was it. I'm in my room all day. And even King Diamond, man, I'm just in my room all day, cranking King Diamond, trying to hit these high notes and stuff, singing Dio,
Your parents were cool with all the, I can't forget that song. Your parents were cool with the heavier music?
My mom was very cool. I have a funny story about my mom and Iron Maiden. I was watching that live Maiden. It was like that VHS that was out in the 80s, I'm watching this thing, and she comes in, and she just was watching. And she goes, "Does he stuff his tights?" I said, "No, Mom." I said, "Mom," this is Bruce Dickinson, of course. I said, "No, Mom, it's the real thing." And then she sat down next to me, and she watched the whole rest of the show. So I think she had a little crush on Bruce Dickinson. She she's since passed away. You know, I miss her,
Right.
Jackie. She passed away, you know, some years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
But yeah, she was a stage mom. She was very proud of me. Let me make a racket. Let me bring friends over and just make a lot of noise.
Did they play instruments too, or were they in music or musically involved with any bands or anything?
My folks?
Yeah.
No, my mom played acoustic guitar and she would sing, and actually she studied opera for a little while, just for her own enjoyment. And there's a cassette somewhere of her singing Une Belle Vie with a piano player. So she could sing, but she didn't want to perform. She was too shy. My sister, her nickname is Zay Harrison, and she plays acoustic guitar. She's got, you know, a few albums out, or Butterfly Breakdown.
Oh, really?
So she's more of a singer-songwriter type. Kind of like Indigo Girls, kind of like in that vein. And so there's some musical stuff in the family, but you know, we were the ones that kind of really picked it up and ran with it. And I knew that was what I wanted to do when I was a child. You know, my mom even took us to a shrink when I was a kid, because it was like, I'm going to be a rock star when I grow up. She's like, honey, you can't be a rock star, and not everybody can be a rock star. I'm like, no, Mom, I'm going to be a rock star when I grow up. And so this family therapist was like, you know, we're really concerned about your daughter.
Really?
Like, insisting that she's going to be. And so I'm not. I mean, I'm a full-time working musician. This is how I make my living. I mean, not now that all gigs are canceled, but you know, as far as in the blues scene, I've been able to, in the, you know, blues and blues rock, I've been able to be successful enough to make a living at it, and to get some streaming income even, and some, you know, sound exchange and ASCAP, and which, you know, that little bit, it helps right now. I'll tell you that. But I always wanted to make a metal record, you know. I always wanted to do it, and it just was. It wasn't until 2016. It was actually, I was voting in the Grammys, although I'm probably not supposed to say that either. But I heard Ghost, Cerise. I heard Cerise, and I just heard that few open, and I'm like, oh boy, because that kind of sounds like Slayer, the intro to that.
Right. Yeah, like a slower version.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
and then
I love Ghost. They're one of my favorite bands, even though everybody seems to hate Ghost. I don't know why, but
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it. I fucking love Ghost. And it was after that I just started going, I heard these songs coming out. And so I was really inspired by Ghost. I started buying their records and listening and going, wait a minute, you can just do what you want? You mean musically? You can just do whatever the hell you want, and you know, you don't have to listen to other people tell you what you should do. And that's really what inspired me to finally just say, that's it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this record. And I don't care what the blues police say. I don't care what other people say. I'm just, you know, I got to follow my heart and let the beast out.
And actually, Ghost is a little bit similar to how you work, because the vocalist, he pretty much does all the instruments himself.
Yeah,
and he writes
most of these things himself. Yeah, he writes on his own for the most part. Yeah. So that was a model for me too, because, you know, because it was always in the back of my mind that, well, you don't have a band, you don't have a metal band, you can't do this, you know. Although, and here I'll put a little wrinkle in this too, and let you know, I joined a band. There's a band in Portland.
I was looking some stuff up about you. Yes,
Splintered Throne. Yeah. I was a fan of the band, and then they made this announcement. They were opening for Flotsam and Jetsam in Portland, and they made this announcement that their lead singer was leaving. And the friend that was with me was like, "Go talk to him. Go talk to him." I was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so I ended up auditioning and joining this band. Of course, now we're on hiatus. We've had another, you know, lineup change, and so, and we can't rehearse. So what we've been doing, the band leader, Jason Moser, he set up a Zoom conference call. Okay. And so, you know, everybody's recording parts at home and sending Dropbox and you know, and that's how we're regrouping and writing in this, you know, coronavirus era. It's really a trip. So although White Crone is a recording project, it's not a band. Right. Because I can't play guitar and bass and sing and all that at the same time. So, you know, I could put a band together, but, you know, that's a whole nother subject. I've still got my blues band. But we are going to perform out as, the Splintered Throne is going to perform. And that's another band that's another, another project that's really into songs and songwriting. And it's old school. It's the traditional stuff that I love. So I'm looking forward to eventually we all come out of hibernation. That Splinter can get out there and we can kick some ass live. So I really want to get out there. And I'm not playing the bass in that band. They got a great bass player. So I'm just singing. It'd be fun. Get to run around on stage. So I'm looking forward to that too. So that's going to be the live thing. We might put a couple of White Crone tunes in there. If people are asking, we might put one or two in there.
Man, the band's up for that.
I think so. Yeah, they've actually asked about it a couple of times. So,
really?
So
cool.
that might work. If people are into it.
Why did the singer? What was that?
Mm-hmm. Well, the singer was living in Seattle, and we're in Portland. He's got a family, and they were commuting back and forth because he has a job that took him up to Seattle. And so they were commuting back and forth. It just became too much. It became too stressful for him and his family to have him, commuting all the time. He's got small kids.
Okay. How long has that band been together?
A band's been together about 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so they've got a couple of full-length CDs out, and we put a single out, the song Immortal. And
I just heard that. That was really good. I like that.
Isn't that a great song?
Your voice, it makes the music. I don't know. It's just your voice is really good. So it just really adds to the music.
Thank you.
The other guy was good because I was listening to some of the stuff that he did. But when I saw that you joined the band, I'm like, wow, this band's going to take a whole totally different, maybe a different turn a little bit in the style a little bit, and it totally adds something different to it.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I really enjoy them. They're great guys. Great bunch of guys. Yeah.
Well, hopefully everything, with this virus thing, everything just goes back to normal at some point.
At some point it will, but right now it's like people need to take this seriously. And I have an autoimmune issue that I take some pretty strong medications. So there are people, it's not just grandma and grandpa that we got to worry about. Because like I have a friend who had cancer and they had to take all the lymph nodes out of her arm to cure her cancer. She doesn't have lymph nodes means she can't fight. Her immune system can't fight things. So everybody, we're all stuck in our homes. We're not working. We're not going out to the bars. But there's a reason that we're doing this. There's a reason we're doing this. And I'm one of those reasons, protect me.
How's everybody acting there, though? Are the people like, because here, like, we went to the beach. I wasn't going to get out of the car. We're just going to go look at the water, sit at the beach. We went down there. It was hundreds of people there. I'm like, why is everybody here? And they're all walking around near each other. Are they doing the same thing now by you? Are they still out and about?
Oh, yeah. They don't get it. They have been. Kate Brown is the governor. She finally locked down the state because people were like, oh, I'm just going to go for a walk in the woods. And like 700 other people are taking a walk in the woods and they're all just like right next to each other. So she was finally like, that's it. That's enough. And, the grocery stores have been really good. Post office has been really good. They put tape and said, everybody stand here. Stand where I put the cone tape, so people are spaced apart. And so they've been, the vital services have been operating pretty well. But there's still people, man, they just don't get it. And the conspiracy theories, man, they're really far out. It's like, there's 5G and then Bill Gates, George Soros and laboratory, and Tom Hanks is a pedophile and all this stuff. It's like,
I love that one. And that one went on for because one of the other shows I do, I don't know if you know who Timo Tolkki is. Do you know who Timo Tolkki is? From Stradivarius, you know the band Stradivarius? Yeah. I do a podcast with him every week. And he's very much...
See,
Rat Sound Review Network. We got tons of stuff on there. But
right.
he's big into the conspiracy. I mean, I like conspiracy theories too, but he's like all into this stuff. And he posted a thing about the Tom Hanks thing, and I'm just reading this thing, and it's just like it sounds very plausible, but I don't believe it. It's just too far fetched.
Very plausible that Tom Hanks is running a pizza the pizza parlor thing. It's the pizza.
You never know.
Thing.
And then Oprah, God knows, God forbid what she's doing.
No, you know what? Somebody ate a bat. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's all this, and maybe it could be this and 5G, and they cooked up in a lab, but it's like either that or somebody ate a bat. And you know what? It's like if you want to know something about music, you talk to somebody with a music degree. You want to know what's this 13th, chord or whatever. You talk to an expert with a music degree, right? And they'll tell you what's up. It's like if there's something wrong with your car, you go to the guy who's an expert in fixing cars, and you ask him what's up with your car. But as soon as a virologist says, this looks exactly like a bat virus, they say, no, it's a conspiracy, and Tom Hanks, it's like, it's a bat virus. It's pretty simple.
Yes, it is. And actually, I don't know if you've seen there was a video somebody posted online with the market in China, where all the animals and things that they eat there. So after you see that, yeah. You see that, you gotta know that's where this had to start from.
Yeah. And most people in China, that's the thing. They're like, oh, these people in China are eating all this gross stuff. It's like, no, actually, it's a very small minority of people in China. Because I've been to China. I've traveled a bit in China, and they eat pork, and they eat chicken, and they eat beef, and that's pretty much it. They eat vegetables, and they eat pork, a lot of pork over there, and but there's a few pockets of people. I mean, hell, in Texas, people eat rattlesnake.
Right.
Yeah. In Kentucky, do you hear about the squirrel brains?
No.
People in Kentucky were eating squirrel brains, and they're getting like that mad cow kind of thing from eating squirrel. No. So they had to tell them to stop eating the squirrel brains. So it happens all over the world. People eating some weird shit. It's not just Ozzy eating bats.
Right, yeah. Good thing he didn't start the coronavirus gun. Yeah, you never know. Who knows, right? How do you feel about Ozzy? Because now he just came out, he has Parkinson's. Yeah,
him and Glenn Tipton, man. That was heartbreaking.
Oh, yeah. I forget about Glenn,
yeah. Yeah, so, I would watch the Jack and Ozzy show, and you'd see the tremor. You'd see the hands tremoring. But I also know, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I know what, neuropathy is. There's some people that they drink so much alcohol it causes neuropathy. So I figured that's what it was. But when they finally came out and said, no, he's got Parkinson's, it was like, yeah, that's totally believable. But what a tough guy. What a tough cookie.
I know, he's still hanging on. He's still put out a new album and everything. Have you heard the new album?
Yeah, I like it. I'm not crazy about the auto tune, and it's a little too overproduced for my tastes. But there's a couple really good songs I heard on there. So I'm happy that he's able to do it. But he really wants to tour. He really wants to play live. It's hard when you can't perform. It's hard right now. I lost 23 gigs. Well, actually, now we're up to like 26. My blues gigs gone on. So that's why I'm like, if you go online and you buy.
Oh, thank you for showing that.
The Poisoner.
Do you have one open? Because isn't it like a big thing inside?
It's got a little lyric thing in there. I didn't go overboard. I'm not. This has a little bit of first wave of black metal influence. So I'm not really big on. You listen to it. It's not really a black metal album, but I really like the black metal aesthetic. I love the aesthetic. So I found this work of art. This guy named Jan Vidra. He's an artist in England. So he this beautiful work of art on the front. It's called The White Witch, and so you see it's very black metal looking. And this groovy, creepy snake, and But I had a lyric sheet printed up, so if people wanted to hear to read along with the lyrics, because a lot of them are stories. I'm really into storytelling. A lot of this is kind of occult based. There's a song about zombies. There's a song about, the poisoner is like a priest kind of a character, Judas Priest kind of a character that transcends time and moves in throughout time and space and stuff like that. So it's kind of like that. And here I am with my 6-string bass and my 7-string guitar. So yeah, this is my main source of income, is selling this, and also my blues CDs. So
now, where can they get your blues CDs?
Those are on iTunes, Amazon. You can order them on Amazon right now, because it used to be CD Baby. You could order them direct from CD Baby. You know what? I might even start a band camp for my blues stuff.
I think you should.
Why not? Maybe I should do that. And then I can sign these and send these too.
And also, I saw CD Baby. They're not going to be selling the CDs anymore.
No, not direct. So they're going to do distribution to Amazon. So it's kind of weird, because they take a little fee, of course, and then they sell it to Amazon, and Amazon takes a little cut. So it's like everybody's getting a little piece of the pie. So given that that's the case, because I like CD Baby. They're actually based in Portland, and I like the fact that people could just order direct from them. But they can order my stuff from musicmillennium.com. That's a store. Actually, both of these CDs, the Lisa Mann, all my discography, you can order from musicmillennium.com, and that's a record store. It's one of the few, it's a record store. It's cool. They've got art, they've got albums, they've got cassettes, they've got CDs, they've got collectibles, they got old timey candy. It's one of those places. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cool. So
is that based out by you?
Yeah, that's in Portland. That's in Portland, Oregon. Cool. But that's online too. They sell online, Music Millennium. And but the band, whitecrone.bandcamp.com, that's where you can find The Poisoner. And I'm really glad that you dug it. I'm really glad that you're giving it awesome. High marks. And but it's gotten high marks everywhere.
Because I was so nervous. It's really good. And actually, when I was just looking on Amazon, all the how you can rate, like, if you like the songs or not. Almost all the songs are almost all rated really high. I don't know. Oh, there, see that? Look at that.
Well, that's cool.
See?
Right on. That's so
cool. People are listening to it, and people are really enjoying the album.
Yay! Yeah, I was so nervous. I hired a PR guy, Carcass Bomb from Noob Heavy, to promote it and contact people and let them know. And so I was are they gonna like it? It's like, yeah, they think it rocks.
Where did you come up with the name White Crone?
I watched an interview that you did last month with Dead Cosmonaut.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And remember they were saying they kept coming up with names and finding out that some other band had the name, and that's what happened to me. Because I wanted to call the project 18 Rabbit. And then I found out that there was another band called 18 Rabbit. And I was like, okay, I have to come up with something else. And so I was thinking, well, maybe it's, it should be something about me and tell people who I am instead of just this, because I wasn't even sure I was going to put the Lisa Mann name on it. So I was like, fine, I'm going to own it. Yeah, Lisa Mann made metal record. I don't care what the Blues Police say. So, but I thought, okay, it should be something about me. So it's like Crone. Okay, I'm no spring chicken. So I thought Crone, that's a good one, because that's kind of the character is telling you stories. It's like the elder village woman who's telling you stories. And I'm also, you can see I'm really pale.
Yes.
So I'm really pale.
I didn't want to say nothing.
I'm white. I'm very pale, and I'm old. So White Crone. There you go.
All right, it works for me.
Yeah, and it was fun because it was like I'm gonna get costumes and I'm gonna have hood and like astrology and I'm gonna get into it, man. It's like a character. It's kind of like kind of like Papa.
Yeah, a little Papa. Bit. Yeah, with all the bands that you mentioned, like with the like with all the bands that you mentioned, like Ghost and Kiss and everything. I guess you like that theatrical stuff with the music, right?
I love that shit. Yeah,
I do too. A lot of people don't, but I think it's cool. It adds more to the music, especially if you're playing live, and then people has something besides the music to listen, and watch.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then you can also play another character. You don't have to be yourself. You're something else,
That's right. That's right. Instead of the person hanging out in my jammies all day, like I have for the past couple of days, making burritos and hanging out, watching Walking Dead.
Well, what did you think of the well, not the last episode because that was kind of a little boring, but the one before that, last week's episode.
Oh yeah. That last scene, that what took you so long thing, it's like we like reacted. We jumped off the couch. We're like, oh my god!
Yeah, didn't see that coming.
Did you see it coming?
No, I did not.
Me neither. Totally like, because I was kind of like rolling my eyes at it. Because that's the thing about Walking Dead. It's like sometimes it's so good, and then sometimes it's just like so bad. And you're like, I'm never watching this show again.
Right.
I'm never watching it again. And then you're like, all right, I'll watch it. And then they get you, and it's good. And that was so good.
Oh yeah. Do you watch the Fear the Walking Dead too, or no?
Yes. Yeah. We love. My husband is a student of Latin jazz, so he's a fan of. What's the actor? He's an actor. He's a piano player. Ruben Blades. He's a big fan of Ruben Blades. So Salazar. He played Daniel Salazar on the show. So that's kind of what got us into the show. The guy whose daughter died, Salazar. He was from the very beginning. He was the hairdresser that was the Central American. He ran with the Central American dictatorship, and he has this sordid past. And he was in the barber shop when the family first burst into the barber shop in the very beginning. Daniel Salazar. He's a guy almost burnt up. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So, and that's another just like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Right. Yeah. That's like with The Walking Dead. I mean, for a while everybody's given up on it, but I for some reason I just have to keep watching that show, and I was ready to give up on it too last season, and then when this new season started up, and I guess they got a new producer or whatever doing the shows.
That's true.
And he also did one of the episodes from like way back a couple seasons, and that was like one of the best episodes that he did. And now he's doing this second half of the season, and I can see they really need to just keep this guy because he keeps it very suspenseful and just makes you want to watch the show again.
Yep. I'm digging it.
So hopefully
got more time.
Right.
Got more time to watch.
Might as well rewatch the whole thing all over again.
Oh, man.
Is there any other shows that you're watching?
We're digging Better Call Saul because we love Breaking Bad. Love Better Call Saul.
What was that? The thing broke up.
Oh, Better Call Saul.
Oh, did you watch the new season yet?
Yes. Yes, we've been watching. We still got new ones to watch. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good writing, and we watched a little bit of Witcher, but it's kind of like I don't know. It's fun. It's kind of cool. It's still Game of Thrones, but it's cool.
Yeah, I think that's based on a video game or something.
That's right, or a comic book or something like that.
Yeah, something.
But I need to like I said. It's been stressful. It's been bizarre. I've got friends who are sick. You heard Death Angel's drummer. He's in the ICU.
Yeah.
Gary Holt has it. It's just everywhere. I have friends who have COVID.
The Testament singer, Chuck Billy.
Yeah, Chuck Billy's got it. It's like it's everywhere. So it's stressful. It's scary. Things are weird. So this past week or so, I've been like, been cooking more. I've been watching TV. I've been relaxing. I've been arguing with people about politics, Facebook and shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, but now I'm starting to get more into the groove. It's like, it's okay. We're going to be okay. And I'm going to get into the Splintered Throne. Those guys have been sending files, and start looking at the files, songwriting, putting some lyrics together. I've got 5 songs for the next White Crone CD that I have basic forms for, front to back, and I have a few more ideas for other songs. And they're even more storytelling in a way, and it's more character based in a way. It's not like a concept album, but I'm going to try to use some of this time more productively than I have been. And because I have instruments, I've got the drums, I've got the recording program and editing, and maybe I'll get back to work. Get on the music.
So there might be a White Crone album sooner than later, I guess, right?
I don't know. Maybe it might take a while because I've got the blues career.
Let this one sit for a while though, because people need
I'm gonna let this one sit for a while, and I really want to thank you for listening to it and for sharing it with people, because it's like that thing, if a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody to hear it, exactly. It's like that's the most terrifying thing for any artist, is that no one will hear or see your work. And obscurity is death to the creative artist. So I really want to thank you for doing this today, and for sharing The Poisoner with your viewers. I really appreciate it.
I'm gonna share it on Facebook and Twitter and on Instagram too, because like I said, this album, I listened to it a few times today. It's awesome, and I didn't expect it to be awesome. And then when I finished listening to the whole thing and realized it's a great album, and I'm definitely gonna promote it as good as I can.
Oh man, that means a lot.
Hopefully I can get you at least one sale.
Yes, that's right. Help me pay my phone bill, man.
I'm trying. I will try. I will definitely try. I really appreciate. So where can people go? Do you have a website or no?
I have a website. It's
Twitter. Okay.
It's whitecrone.com. And that has, little portals to, the Facebook and to the Bandcamp and also to Music Millennium. So there's a couple of different ways to buy the CD from Bandcamp, from Music Millennium, also digital, Amazon. Just, everybody has their own favorite platform. Right. Please, and if you could please, if you have a Spotify playlist, anybody out there, if you do or anybody else, if you have a Spotify playlist, it would mean a lot if you added, The Dream of Tiamat or The Poisoner or 18 Rabbit or one of my songs to your playlist, because, we don't get a whole lot of income from streaming, but it all adds up. And I did get a couple of songs from my blues project on some really big playlists, and that has helped me pay the bills. So, every little ad, every little listen on these platforms, it really does help. It helps keep the music alive. It gives me an excuse to get back in the studio and make some more.
Awesome. Everybody, and what about your other band, Splintered? What is it called? Splintered.
Splintered Throne.
Splintered
Throne. Yes. So right now, we're in the process of writing. So we have 3 songs that are pretty well done, and it just needs to be, mapped out for the arrangement and solos. And, I like to say it's the bones are ready, but the elbows and the knees aren't quite done, right. And there's several different ideas that are waiting to be crafted in the drop boxes, and we're all just kind of passing it around. It's weird because we can't be in the same room.
Right,
I have never written with anyone else, really.
Oh, really?
Very rarely. Only once. I actually sang and played bass on a project called Cry for Eden, and you can still find that out on the internet. And that I co-wrote, or but mainly he was giving me files and said, "Here, could you write some vocal parts on top?" And but for the most part, I've never written with anybody. And it's interesting because these guys all write as a group, Splintered Throne, and it's been a lot of fun. But it's rough because right now we can't be in the same room together.
Do they have a website that people can go to?
I believe, yes, it's splinteredthrone.com. It's that simple.
I'm glad everything's easy.
Yeah, exactly. And then on there should be links to, because we did release one single, Immortal 2020, and that's it's an updated version of an older song. And that was written by Jason Moser after Lemmy passed away. And so to me, when I sang the song, I was thinking about Lemmy. I was thinking about Ronnie James Dio. I was thinking about, just all those wonderful musicians who've meant so much to us, and Jill Janis, who've passed away. And, so I tried to think about them while I was singing that song. So that song, I think it turned out really great. And I'm really looking forward to this next CD. It's going to be a little weird, kind of crafting music together remotely like this, but I think we could do it. We have the technology. It's like the $6 million man.
Right. Exactly. A lot of people are doing it, so it works. So
that's right.
That's right.
Yay, multi-tracking.
That's right. All right. Well, I really appreciate you. Don't go away. I just want to talk to you before we end this. But thank you very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
You froze.
Did I? Am I back now? Am I back? Did I come back? Hello?
Come back, Wayne.
Am I back? How about now?
Come back, Wayne.
There's too many. There must be too many people using Skype. How about now?
Yeah, probably. Yep.
I'm back.
Everybody's talking to their audience. You're back.
Probably. But I really appreciate you coming on the show, and I'm going to definitely invite you to the King Diamond show, so that'll be fun. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Are you usually good later at night?
I'm good at any damn time. Okay. Mornings aren't so hot, as you can tell. Yeah, mornings I'm like, I'm still like, I need to make breakfast and have tea and get in the shower and all that stuff.
That's fine.
But I'm
perfect.
Good because, like I said, I lost all my gigs. So
right. Well, we'll get you some, hopefully some exposure on these shows here. But,
yes.
And please buy the White Crone album. You will not be disappointed. I promise you. I wouldn't tell you. I actually would not have you on the show if I didn't like the album. So there you go.
Well, that makes sense. That does make sense.
Although no, that doesn't really make true because I've had some bands that.
Well, but they have fans. They have fans,
and there are some songs that I do like. So what it is. I like to, even if I don't like the band or their music or something, I do want to help bands out because I've played in a band, and I know what it feels like to try to get your music out there to people, and it's not easy,
It's rough.
So if I can help you, even if I don't like it, somebody else watching the show is going to like it, not just me. Right. It's not all about me. So, but please go buy the White Crone album, and it's called The Prisoner, right? No, The Poisoner. Why did you pick that name for the? Sorry, I'm thinking of the Iron Maiden since we talk so much Iron Maiden.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Before we go, I didn't even think, why'd you pick that song?
I had to think about it. I was thinking about it, because it was a lot of it was like I recorded these songs. I had these songs. I actually, I'm glad because I didn't really have to jettison any songs. It's not like I recorded some songs and said, oh, well, this isn't going to fit. For the most part, I was like, yeah, everything really fits. And I was like, well, now what do I call it? And I wanted to call it 18 Rabbit. It was like, no. And then I got the image. I found the image. It took me months to track down the artist. And I saw that White Witch, and I was like, okay, I think just the track The Poisoner would be good. Plus, I made a video for The Poisoner. Right, so we made a full production video with actors and everything. Actually, they're not, my friend is actually the abbot of a Zen center nearby. And so it really is the abbot of a Zen center that gets poisoned. Really? So they're all friends of mine. And Cypress Jones did the video. So I just figure, okay, that's the single. Let's call it The Poisoner. It kind of just, the feel kind of fits with the art and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
It is creepy. Is it going to be another video for one of the other songs?
I have planned on doing that, and it's just a matter of it's tough to fund something like that. It's really hard to get the funds to do something like that. So I would like to, but I may make some more like slideshow videos on my own and just see what I can do. Like I said, I got more time. There's video editing software out there. But as far as right now, it's like even planning a production video is impossible right now. So we'll see.
Well, a lot of people now, even like a band another band that I'm very close with, they just released their first EP last year. They have a lot of lyric videos. So they have like a green screen, so the singer will do some, singing in front of the green screen, and they'll add some backgrounds and things like that. Then they'll have the lyrics come across and add some other things like that. So those are huge things to do now. So maybe do something like that. And it's cheap. You don't have to pay anybody to do it. You can do that yourself.
And it's simple. I might just try to do that. Yeah,
I think so. You need to have another video or something to put up on YouTube.
Know.
So
believe me, I know. Yeah. Well, thanks for the reminder.
I will. All right. You're welcome. All right. So everybody, please go to ratsaladreview.com. Please buy a t-shirt. We need some money too. Not just a White Crone. But please give her some money too. Please buy the album. It's very cheap. It's not expensive, and she'll even sign it for you. So please go buy it. Yeah. And go check out all of our other shows that we have on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and subscribe to the YouTube. And we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Thank you.
What?